So this showed up today. Do you have a short three sentence story that you say when people come by and say, "Tell me about your boat"?
I absolutely do, 100%.
And it sounds like you enjoy it too, so I'm not bothering you.
No, absolutely. We just came in. Hello.
This is Blue.
Hello, Blue.
She's a boat dog.
Awesome. I'm gonna sit down right here and talk to you. Hi, Blue. Understood. So, of course, this is the Maryland Dove.
The Maryland Dove.
Yes. So you may have heard the story of the Ark and the Dove.
I have not.
Okay, cool. Even better. The Ark and the Dove. Every colony in the first 13 states had to get started somehow. And this is the starting of Maryland.
Really?
The fourth ever successful English colony in what would become the United States. And the Dove, was one of two ships that crossed the Atlantic Ocean to establish the colony.
And this is the original?
No.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we actually don't know what happened to the original 1634 Dove. This ship is actually pretty much brand new, just over a year old.
All right.
Yeah, we did have a past Dove. She was 45 years old, built in 1978, and was the same name and was the same size as the original roundabout, but that's where the similarities end. The whole rig was different, everything on board was different, the shape was different.
Look what I found at the recycled dumpster.
Oh yeah, sorry, okay. But the late 17th century is more so what the 78 Dove represented. Whereas this old girl right here, I should say new girl, is our best guess as to what we think the original Dove would have looked like. Now we cannot call her a replica. State of Maryland.
Okay.
This ship is owned by the state of Maryland, and we are state employees.
And you're a state employee?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. This was $5 million of taxpayer money that the state gave to our museum, essentially, which is a state-run organization. Nonetheless,
that's so cool.
My job is as an interpreter and professional deckhand to sail the ship and educate the public.
Which you're doing right now. My wife puts out a YouTube channel.
Yeah. Feel free to post this.
Thank you.
Our museum is a historic St. Mary City. We represent the first capital of Maryland. Before there was Annapolis, there was historic St. Mary City. And that was 1634, the establishment of the colony underneath Cecil Calvert and his younger brother Leonard.
That I have heard.
Yes. Leonard Calvert would have been on board the Ark, which was the larger of the two ships. The Ark would have had all the passengers, and it also would have had all of the cargo, all the necessary cargo on board. So specifically 140 passengers, so all of the bigwig gentlemen colonists down to the indentured servants were the 140 passengers, and then a 40-man crew, and then 400 tons worth of cargo on the Ark. Whereas the Dove, so what our ship represents, was only a 40-ton cargo ship that had 40 tons worth of insignificant cargo on board, a 7-man crew, unofficially an 8-year-old cabin boy. But the reason I say unofficially is because he was not officially registered on the crew manifest in the 1630s. But because of a lawsuit that happened concerning the master of the ship in 1635, we end up finding out that there was an 8-year-old cabin boy aboard. And then 0 passengers aboard the Dove.
Okay.
So her whole purpose was to be brought over from England alongside the Ark, for the Ark to drop off all the stuff and people, and then go back to England and do whatever it needed to do. That's exactly what it did, too. It was only rented by the Cones. Whereas this ship, the Dove, was actually owned by the Counties. It was owned by the Maryland colony, therefore, by extension, the first ship ever owned by what would become the state of Maryland. Intended purpose was to sail up and down the intercoastal waters to trade with the other colonies. At the time, the other colonies that it would have traded with, although it only successfully did so once, was Boston, which back then would have been Massachusetts Bay, Plymouth, and Jamestown. But it only makes trade once with Massachusetts Bay or Boston. An entire, the same year that they established the colony in Maryland, 1634, that August, during harvest season, they have an entire cargo hold full of corn and send it up to Boston for trade, making Maryland the first successful English colony to not have any starving time. We weren't having.
I'm going to have to do some dog management here in a second.
Yeah, no worries.
Anything you want to tell the world? Come and see your boat.
Yeah, come learn about Maryland history. It's awesome.
Okay, thank you. What's your name?
Noah Busby.
Thank you, Noah.
Yes, of course.
Unfortunately, another dog was coming down the dock, so Ace had to cut his conversation short. Our dog is still in training, so he needed to focus all of his attention on our dog. Thank you, Noah, from the state of Maryland. Fascinating conversation.
Another cool yacht pulled up behind us in the slip, called the Sally B. Looks like a double-masted schooner. Classic canoe stern. Love the looks of that boat.